Hello everybody, welcome back to X-Plane 11 once again. We are going to be exploring the new Orbx TrueEarth Florida. I have that installed. It was a hefty download and it took a while to get it all in here, but it is in here. We have the Airfoil Labs 172 today. We're just going to be departing out of Key West. We're going to go up north to Marathon Island, and if we have time, we'll do some touch and goes and just get used to the airplane again. But we're going to check out the islands and see what that looks like. It looks fantastic. Way better than Ortho 4XP, I must say. Yeah, we're gonna do that. And what I plan to do is do a series of this. We're gonna try different GA airplanes along the way. So we're flying the 172 today. Maybe we'll fly the King Air out of Marathon up to somewhere in Miami or something, and then we'll just explore all of Florida together in a smaller GA series over the next few weeks. So here we are, Airfoil Labs 172. We're going to get inside and fire it up and get going. And by the way, all of the graphics and clouds and everything you see here, that is all done by good old Xenviro. That's what we are using, if you were wondering. So turn on our master. Let everything come to life a little bit here. Radio lights, panel lights, all that stuff. We can bring them up as we need to. Gonna need those a little bit today since it is a little dark in the cockpit right now. And she's all firing up very nice. All right, let's go ahead and we'll turn the fuel pump on. And go in. And out. And turn that off. Oh, the Avionics master should have been off, by the way. When we're firing this thing up, we shouldn't have those on. But it's a sim. It's going to be all right. I promise you. Test on that annunciator. That's good to go. And we are fantastic. So let's go ahead and fire this baby up. We have our parking brake set, and we go over to the start position. Or is that not gonna? Oh, you know what we might have? There it goes. Not sure what it was. I went down here, and I remember in the past I've had to do this before, where you pull out and push that back in, and sometimes that resets it. Apparently that was the case and it did exactly that. I'm gonna pull back my power about 900 RPM. There we go. We can go ahead and get our Avionics firing up right now. That looks wonderful. We're gonna grab some weather and we'll get on out of here. All right, winds are 130 at 6 knots and altimeter 3004. So we'll get that in where we need it. 3004. We're gonna be down here. That's good right there. 3004. That is all set and looking like the winds are out of the west getting into Marathon today, so nothing crazy going on there. Not sure. We might have a little bit of chop going on the way up there, but regardless, I think we're going to be fine. We'll put that in here on our direct to. We'll put Marathon key in here. Okay, so that's not working at all. I don't know why that's not working, but I cannot get my cursor to turn at all. Which you should be doing. I mean, you can change these, but you can't change the actual ones inside. So, oh well. We'll go with Dead Reckoning today. I'll put 135525 here for Marathon. So when we get in close, we can grab the ATIS from that. And we'll have updated weather. 525. I don't know why that's not working. That's very strange. Usually it doesn't do that. Taking off on runway 9. You got it. We've got India. And after start checklist, we've got go in here, flaps retracted, avionics master switch is on, radios are on, ATIS, we've got it. We have India, altimeter is set, heading indicator, I've got it set to 130, so I know where the winds are coming from. Transponder, it's going to go to standby, which is down here. We'll put 1200 in that guy in standby, fantastic. Nav lights on as required, and taxis, brake test, and turn coordinator, all that's operating. We're going to do that right now. Let's go ahead and close that guy out, and we can release this parking brake. I gotta kind of find it here. It's in the dark. There we go. Push it all the way in. There we go. And we'll do a brake test here first. Release the brakes. You can see we're starting to roll a little bit forward here. I have brakes, and we've got working turn coordinator as well. So we're all good there. Let's go taxi down to runway 9er. All right, so out on our taxi here, we can talk a little bit about TrueEarth US Florida. 8,310,553 accurately placed buildings, over 400 million trees with true color tech, and nearly 1,000 bespoke custom 3D models, all with PBR. And this is the Orbx Key West scenery as well. We're not using the one from X Aviation that we were using before. This is theirs, and I must say it's very nice. I like it a lot. You may be asking what else there is. There's a whole lot. They've really done an amazing job on the water, and you'll see that when we depart out of Key West here. We're using real-world time, so it's 5 o'clock in the evening. And happy Monday, by the way. And you get custom autogen, unique housing that's local to Florida. You get new buildings that you haven't seen before, and faster performance, less RAM usage. It's all on my external drive, and it runs pretty good. It takes a while to load in. It takes about 10 minutes or so to actually load in. Maybe a little quicker after you get the sim up and running, but it is, it's no walk in the park, I can tell you that. So the true color tech, they have vegetation that matches the ortho you'll see. The building roofs will match the ortho, and it creates just a lot of realism, and you're going to see that on the departure out of Key West here as we get down to runway 9er. We'll do a run-up before we get going. Might as well do some things a little legit. We're not focusing so much on our flying today as we are the actual product itself that is TrueEarth US Florida. And we had a short taxi today. That's the reason why I didn't lean for taxi. Normally you would. I remember my days at the flight school. We did not. All right, that's good to go because we had such a short taxi. Let's go ahead and bring this bad boy up to 1,800 RPM. A little bit more than that, bud. There we go. Now we're hearing the sounds of that. Let her come to life. All right, we'll check our magnetos first. We'll go to the right one. There's our drop. Back to both. Left. Back to both. And we don't have carb heat, nothing like that. Don't have to worry about it. We're checking all our instruments. They're all in the green and looking great here. Go ahead and pull our power back down here and adjust our friction lever as we need. We'll box the controls here. Flight controls are free and correct. I could feel them. And that's great. We could, you know, actually, when you were doing it, you'd see out the side there. Yeah, you got all that. Takeoff trim is... Now it's set. There we go. That's good to go there. I like it. And I'm going to actually sink down in our seat a little bit more here. We're a little tall on that one. I'm a pretty tall dude, and that's what I would see when I flew this airplane. But regardless, we're good to go. Let's turn ourselves on a landing light and a strobe light. There we go. Perfect. We're using Traffic Global. We're checking the flight line. It is clear, and we're going to be clear for takeoff here. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of power here. Actually, you know what we need to do first? Before we do that, we need to remove that parking brake. That's what we need to do. I just can't see it because it's so dark in here. There we go. Wonderful. A little bit of power here. We'll get rolling. We'll put our guy over here to out. We're squawking 1200 out. Looking good. And we'll just get to do some VFR flying up to Marathon Key. Gonna be pretty awesome. I must say, I really love the palm trees and just the vegetation itself looks so much better than default X-Plane. It really does. Line up on runway 9er. That is correct. That's the one we want. It is. It is. And we'll just go ahead and apply full power here ever so slightly. There we go. She is alive. Ooh, hello. A little bit of gust of wind there. Airspeed is alive. Looking for 55 knots for our rotation speed. 55, on up we go. And she just comes right off the ground like that. How about that? We get that nose up here on the horizon. We shoot for 80 knots on our climb out. Don't need to use any of our flaps. Now, normally I use track IR when I fly GA. I'm not using it today, and that is because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to be like a problem. I haven't used any of this yet, so this is the first time I'm seeing it, folks. I'm recording the first time I see TrueEarth Florida And I want to make sure that we weren't going to have bad frame rates or something, because, man, if I had track eye on, it would be a mess. So we're just getting them static, and we'll look at frame rates in a little while. We'll see what we're pulling in here. I use a Jetline Systems PC. I am sponsored by Jetline. They give me the PC, and it is fantastic. So if you're wondering what specs I'm running here, you could check out that in my About page of YouTube. But look at this water. Isn't that amazing looking? It's beautiful. Really cool. I mean, Ortho for XP is cool, but you get a bunch of, you know, well, you get some trees there too, on top of buildings. There seems to be, you know, no way about it, or around it for the most part, unfortunately. All right, we can now increase our speed to 90 knots. In the real world, we would be getting vectored around this naval air station, but you know what? We're in a sim. We can do whatever we please, so we're just gonna fly right on over it. Oh, hello. That sounded very strange. I did not like the sound of that. I'm just trimming down now to get 90 knots for our climb. And yes, it is as bumpy as I thought it was going to be for us. We're flying VFR, and we're going to go up to about, I don't know, 2,500. We still got 1,000 to go, but we also have to keep in mind we're VFR, so we cannot fly into the clouds. It's been a very long time since I've had to do my a BFR. I believe the clouds are 152. Remember it by the Cessna 152. We're going to stay below them until we get around this little spot here. Let's stay well below these clouds here. They are a lot lower than I thought they were going to be. So we're looking at our frame rate. You can see the counter up the top left screen. 26 right now, and you might be going, man, that's slow. But you know, for a flight simulator, you're shooting right around 30 to 40 is what you want. But I have a feeling it's an X-Enviro thing. If we remove X-Enviro, we'll get much higher frame rates. I really do believe that is the case. So I'm usually getting a 10 frame rate hit off of X-Enviro by itself. So that's the reason why. Those are true volumetric clouds, but man, I just can't not use them, you know? I really, really do love them. So that's the reason why. Oh, we're getting back into 28s there as we get around those clouds. That's not so bad. All right, I have killed X-Enviro because I want to show you the difference. Yeah, we're getting 40 frames per second now. You can see there without X-Enviro running. That's just the difference that it makes. Man, it is bumpy out here today, isn't it, folks? Yes, it is indeed. So, you know, I really can't wait till they get that whole thing fixed with X-Enviro and get better frame rates. That's going to make a world of a difference. It is. But we'll turn it back on because it's pretty. All right, we have X-Enviro running again, and you can see we have clouds in front of us. We're going to dive below. Actually, we can get above this layer. We can get above this layer, I have a feeling. We should be okay on that. And you can see we're dropped down to 24 frames per second, so it's a pretty big jump just between having X-Enviro on and off. So it cuts your frames by half, but man, it is pretty. It really is nice. All right, let's not do 1,000 feet per minute climb. Let's just do this. There we go, much better. Let me get back down on our 90 knots here, about 500 feet per minute. I decided to go ahead and just climb to 3,000 here. We got away from the clouds, and we're just kind of following Highway 1 here, and off our nose, you can see we've got a little bit of something, and it looks like it's the airship. Yeah, they got some airships out there. How cool is that? That looks really neat indeed. But man, you can really get a sense of just how awesome the keys are. And you can see the auto-gen placement of all the buildings and everything along the road, which is just absolutely amazing. Using some autopilot right now. We're going to go ahead and lean out the engine a little bit here. Watch our fuel flow over there. That's pretty good right there. We're not going to make it run really, really rough or anything. Maybe about right there. There we go. And you can see we're right over that little airship spot. That looks so cool. A lot of neat places to sightsee here with all this being done. You can see there's an actual, I say airship, but these are actually weather balloons, I believe. And you can see one that's actually in the ortho there. That's kind of cool. It'd be pretty crazy if they were actually tethered and you had to go around them. That would be pretty neat. Missed opportunity, perhaps? Maybe, but maybe not. A little airstrip right there off our nose. That's pretty cool looking. We're headed out towards Marathon. We still got a little ways to go. All right, putting along here. I was going to try to use the NDB, but I'm not having any luck with the radios and how they work. I can't get that to 260. It just won't let me do it. And I've tried different, all sorts of different stuff. Turn it on, turn it off, you know, basic stuff like that. But it's not working. That is okay. We have VFR. This is Highway 1 going all the way north, and you can see right out there, that's Marathon Key right there. That's where we're going. And winds are out of 130 there. Let's see if we can pick it up actually right now.
Florida Keys Marathon wind 120 at 8.
Winds are 120 at 8.
Sky clear. Temperature 27.
Clear skies.
Minus 12. Altimeter 3003.
Okay, altimeter 3003. That's basically what we have right now, so we're good on that. We have the weather in Marathon. Let's go ahead and make a little left turn out this way. About 070. Be just where we want to be pointing. There we go. We're pretty much going to do a straight-in approach right out of the north here. The northeast. And we've already got that pretty much from here. There's the runway and the airport. Pretty cool. So we'll descend down a little bit here. I'll take over the controls of the airplane, get a few more pictures here of the outside view. It is absolutely gorgeous going down the Keys here today. Absolutely gorgeous. Autopilot is off, and it is my airplane. I'm going to go ahead and just bring it down to about 2,200 RPM here. We'll start our descent. Pretty decent descent. We don't need to be going extremely quick here, but let's bring that nose up a little bit here. About 500 feet per minute. And we should be A-okay. We're still out a little ways. There we go, about 2,100 RPM on that. We've got, we're pretty much on the glide slope right now for it. It's a long straight-in approach. Normally we'd just, you know, if we were not using the weather and all that stuff, we would fly over it, have a look down at the windsock, and then, you know, join a left base or whatever we wanted to do, or left downwind, and land that way. But we're pretty much just straight in right now, looking good. It's okay if those lights on the PAPI system there are showing red, is too low, because that's okay. We're going to descend to about 1,000 feet, and then we'll fly until we have 2 red, 2 white. That is what we're going to do here on this approach. Still continuing our way down right now. Long final into the runway today. One thing about the Airfoil Labs 172 compared to like the default one is, you know, I get a lot of people asking me about that. You know, what's the best 172 in X-Plane? And honestly, the default Laminar Research one is fantastic. This one just seems like the numbers are off. I don't know if it's the weight or the performance of the airplane, but it definitely does feel like it is off, especially on final. This thing will drop like a rock, and I gotta say, the real airplane does not do that to you when you're coming over the numbers. So if I'm coming over the numbers, I'm gonna have to, get into the roundout to the flare, and this thing doesn't want to flare very easy. I seem to have to really yank on it, but that could be a problem with the flight model and the experimental flight model of X-Plane. To be perfectly honest with you, that might be what it is. So not a big deal. We'll shoot, instead of for 70 knots on final approach, we'll do 65, which a lot of flight schools do, 65. And then from there, we will be able to get a nice final approach speed. But we're going to be watching and probably have to keep about 1,500 RPM in this thing so we don't fall out of the sky. Maybe that's another problem, is that we have too much drag. That could be the other issue. So we all know 800 feet would be the pattern altitude. We're going to do about 1,000 here, and we're going to get on the glide slope. You see the town of Marathon off our nose. And we go add some power into this sucker, because it is gusty, man. It's a gusty day down here in the Keys. It's about 900 feet. I'm happy with that. Let's go ahead and start trimming it out. There we go. That's pretty good. And you can see we are now on the all reds, and we're just gonna get 2 red, 2 white. Just wait for those to change over to white, and we'll be good to go on that. And then once we get a little closer, we'll start slowing the airplane down and putting flaps in and all that. But keeping best speed to the airport right now. In flight school, I flew out of Bethalto, Illinois, in Alton, and runway 29er is humongous. And I had to do so many long straight-in approaches to it, and you learn to keep speed to the airport, because it really does feel like it's a lot closer than it actually is, because it's so big, the runway is. And that's what we're seeing happening here today. So let's get on the glide slope. Once we get on the glide slope, we'll go ahead and reduce our power to 1,500 RPM and get this baby slowed down. Bringing that nose up. There we go. Pretty much on the glide slope right now. That's looking pretty good. Go ahead and pull it back down about 1,500 RPM here, and we'll just let this airspeed all bleed off. Lose all this energy, and we'll trim the airplane up for a slower flight. We want to get into our white arc so we can start putting in flaps. I'm gonna go ahead and just kill a little bit more power here. Like I said, the Airfoil Labs, it does some weird stuff. We got 10-degree flap here. Let's see what the airplane does. Pretty good. It wasn't too bad. And then we'll go flaps 20. I think that's all we're going to need is flaps 20 today. I don't think we're going to need 30. 30 seems like it's a whole lot with this airplane. Remember, we want to use the power for altitude. And we want to pitch for our airspeed. So 70 knots. Actually, it seems to work well with that. The 172R that I flew, that was 70 knots on final 30 degrees flaps. If we put 30-degree flap in, I just have a feeling it's going to be a pig, and we don't need it to do that. We got the tower right there off our nose. This is something really cool about TrueEarth Florida is, man, you have all these, custom towers and placements. You really have to pay attention to what you're doing. All right, we're a little high on our approach, but that's okay. We'll just pull the power out and let the airplane come on down. Looking good here. Gusty. Rusty gusty. Right on the glide slope. Looking great. Final approach. You see the windsock there on the right. You see the wind right out of 130. That is correct. If that was showing the opposite way, we would go around and do it all over again. So right now, I'm just keeping my eyes on those 1,000-footers. These big white boxes we're looking at here, and keep our eyes on the horizon for our flare and round out here, or round out to flare. So round out, full power back, let it flare on up. Ooh, hello. We're going to bounce it. There we go, bounced it. Definitely bounced it. Let's bring the flaps up. And we'll be left traffic on the go here. Full power. Do a touch and go. A little rusty in this airplane, so that's the reason why we're gonna play around here and check out Marathon. Man, that looks absolutely amazing. How realistic that looks. Keep that nose on 80 knots here on our climb. go. And flaps are all up. We're on our climb here. There we go. Ooh, hello, gusts of wind. So, so nice. 400 feet, we're gonna start our left turn. There we go, left turn here. We'll go to our crosswind. We wanna make sure we're a lot shallower since we're on the upwind leg here. We can increase our bank angle on a downwind. From downwind to base leg. So as that wind starts to get to our back, we can start increasing our bank. Look at that water, man. That is so cool. That is really neat. We'll square up. Remember, we went about 800 feet here. You see the nose there. And there's 800 now. We'll pull our power back about 2,200 RPM. So now we're on our left downwind for the runway. And that's pretty good. About 95 knots or so is great in the pattern. 100 knots. That's usually what we did. And then what we'll do is we'll get, the wings level with the threshold of the runway. We'll add in our flaps. We have to make sure we're in the white arc, and then we'll add those flaps in. And you see what I'm talking about? How it's a strange transition with the Airfoil Labs. Meaning, it feels very strange to go from the round out to flare because the plane just sinks. It's like there's no ground effect at all. All right, so there we are, 45 from that. Pull our power here. I'm just gonna pull the power all the way, and you'll see what I'm talking about, man. The plane just really slows down. 10-degree flap. And now we'll go left on our base leg. And on the base leg, we're going to aim our nose down for 80 knots. Add 1,500 RPM. There we go. That's pretty decent. A little fast. Bring that nose up. There we go. Lead all that energy off here. There's our base. And we'll be base to final here off of this beach on our nose. And I'm going to go ahead and add more flap. Final setting to flap. And final on final. Pitch for that 70 knots. We know we have that wind coming off our right nose there. So we have that crosswind. And I'm pulling my power down here for the altitude. We're pull the power out more for the altitude. We're a little fast. There we go. Bring that nose up. Pitch for 70. There we go. And now we just kind of feel it out. Try to do a better job on this landing. A little bit of power here because I don't like how slow it was getting there for a second. 65 is fine right there. And we're going to go ahead and round out. And then I'm going to pull that power out. Hold that nose off. Okay, there's our ground effect. There we go. That wasn't too bad. We'll take that one for sure. Way better than the last one. Way better than the last one. Welcome to Marathon. Pretty darn cool. Maybe we'll fly the King Air 350 out of here and go up to Florida. We're probably gonna make Charlie no problem here. No, we'll just go down to the next one. We don't need to force the issue. We're the only airplane here right now. I'm gonna bring our flaps up. And we'll taxi to the ramp. I can see a Baron parked right in front of us. That's cool. All right, so let's go ahead and clean up the airplane. Landing lights off, strobe light off. There we go. And we'll just taxi into the ramp here. Right where this Baron is. I gotta say, folks, I'm pretty impressed with the Orbx TrueEarth Florida. If you've been on the fence about it and you love the state of Florida, man, remember they have other ones too. They just did Washington. It looked amazing too. I don't have that one. And the reason why is I was waiting for the installer to update. Now they have that Orbx Central, which is great because now you can install the scenery on a separate drive than your drive that X-Plane's on. And to me, that's a big deal. That really is a big deal. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull the parking brake. Oh, where you at? There you are, right there. Fantastic. Avionics come off. We'll go ahead and kill the engine here. And she comes to an end like that. The off position. Master off. We'll record our times. Things like that. It was fun. Real fun. Enjoyed our flight today from Key West up to Marathon Key in Florida. And we're going to be exploring all of Florida. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. If you want to check out Orbx TrueEarth, it's going to be linked in the description below. I'll see you next time. Take care.